I didn't react when she said it. The chandelier did, light trembling as though the room itself had inhaled. Nearly 300 patrons I had invited at my own expense slowly turned toward me, united in their anticipation of my humiliation. She laughed first. Then he did louder. And the applause that followed, it wasn't celebration. It was punishment. A long, rolling sound that spread across the ballroom, like a deliberate strike to the face. I smiled anyway, not out of serenity, but because any other expression might have cracked. While the crowd murmured and adjusted themselves, I was already stepping down from the stage, descending the velvet stairs and gliding past the tables pretending they weren't recording me with subtle, hungry lenses. By the time I reached the valet podium, the event coordinator burst through the doors, pale and trembling. Please don't withdraw the sponsorship, he begged. I swear, I had no idea she was connected to you, and the donor list, oh God, please. His voice dissolved into panicked rambling. I said nothing. I didn't need to. The night had already begun to tilt in my direction. That was the edge of the cliff. Everything before it had merely been the path leading up. I first met Mara 6 years earlier in a tiny bookstore that smelled like sun-baked paper and restless ambition. She stood in the aisle reading a memoir by a composer she admitted she'd never heard of. She just thought the cover looked beautiful. That was Mara, spontaneous, bright, charmingly reckless. I was drawn to her bold curiosity. She was drawn to my steadiness. We moved quickly, fueled by the illusion that calm beginnings promise calm endings. Those first years were golden. Quiet dinners on our balcony. Arguments that softened into joking. Futures whispered into the dark. I trusted her too easily. She used that trust like a ladder. Her betrayal didn't shout. It seeped. Longer showers late at night. A phone that stayed face down. A perfume she claimed she'd found. Soft, private laughter she never explained. Working late again? She'd ask, but the relief in her voice betrayed the lie. I didn't confront her. Confrontation reveals your position. I simply observed. The car mileage creeping up in suspicious increments. A second credit card statement she hadn't meant for me to see. A hotel key nestled in a coat pocket. Luxury far beyond coincidence. Every clue whispered, and whispers accumulate. I didn't uncover them accidentally. I followed them. Room 524. Thursday, 5:10 p.m. I waited until 5:26. Her voice drifted out first, breathless, unfamiliar, softened in a way she'd stopped using with me. His voice followed, smug and certain, the kind of man who mistakes borrowed intimacy for ownership. I opened the door. They froze, half lit by the window, clothes scattered. Her lipstick, one I bought, smudged across her mouth. My heart didn't break. It incinerated, then went cold. She clutched the sheets. He tried to form an explanation. I stopped him with a look. I'm not here to discuss anything, I said, and I meant it. There was nothing left to discuss. I walked out before they could shape an apology. Revenge does not start with fury. It starts with precision. I examined every account. Those she didn't know existed, those she assumed she controlled, those she'd never bothered to wonder about. Titles were quietly reassigned. Trusts reorganized past the comprehension of any lawyer she could afford. I purchased the gala anonymously. Every dollar behind it was mine. She believed she'd charmed the foundation director. She didn't know I employed him. She didn't know I held the reins to the platform she thought she'd earned. Meanwhile, her deceit grew sloppy. Her lover grew bold enough to leave small traces around my home. I remained perfectly still. Stillness is the most dangerous posture. When she joked to our friends that I couldn't sense anything amiss, I wrote down the date and time. When she kissed me goodnight, tasting faintly of someone else, I forced my muscles not to move. Hope is what flinches. I had none left. By the night of the gala, everything was staged. She just didn't know she was stepping into a trap built with her own missteps. Her little toast was the ignition. The inferno would follow. As the applause still echoed, my legal team began the process. Asset freezes, card cancellations, the retrieval of her lease car schedule before sunrise. The event coordinator, frantic, pulled up the donor file I had engineered for this exact moment. It didn't just list my anonymous contribution. It showed every secret transfer she'd made to her lover, amounts, dates, routes. A ledger of her downfall. When she discovered what I'd done, she caught me behind the ballroom service corridor. Mascara streaked, panic blooming across her skin. "You can't do this," she whispered. "I already have. You'll destroy me." I looked at her the way a surgeon looks at a tumor, clinical, detached. "You destroyed yourself." "I'm only outlining the damage." Her lover attempted to defend her, a brittle mixture of courage and fear. He crumbled the moment he realized his name appeared in the audit. Security removed him quickly, like clearing away an afterthought. Her world collapsed. Mine simply realigned. I left through a side exit into the cool night air. By morning, she was locked out of every account. By noon, the legal notices reached her. Every asset divided, none in her favor. By evening, her lover severed contact. Terrified of being dragged down with her, I felt no triumph. Revenge isn't about triumph. It's about equilibrium. Weeks later, I walked past the bookstore where I first saw her. The same composer's memoir sat in the window, sun faded, forgotten. I bought it and left on a park bench. A quiet ending, a full circle. As I walked away, I felt only steadiness. Not joy, not sorrow, just restoration. My last message to her, never spoken aloud, was simple. You taught me betrayal. I taught you consequence.